This is Bourbon Deathmatch. Today, a contender enters the ring to earn a spot in UFO Tarheel's cabinet. To earn a spot, you have to take down a champ, and we mean a people's champ. A bottle that sits in most cabinets, not one of these $1,000 show bottles. The contender can be any bottle with similar proof, finish, and availability. So grab your favorite pour, hit the comments to tell us what you're sipping on, and get ready for Bourbon Deathmatch.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to The Hannibal TV. UFO Tarheel here. Going to try something a little different tonight. Going to bring you guys some bourbon action. Battling a little bit of a cold. Perfect night to drink a bourbon, right? Especially this kind of bourbon that we're bringing in the ring. So what we're going to do is something a little different. We're going to bring in a bourbon that is, we're calling it a people's champ. Right? So those of you that drink bourbon, you drink whiskey, you drink rye whiskey, there's the allocated bottles around the country that you hear people flipping out over all the time, right? Not knocking them. They're probably really good bourbons and whiskeys. Not had them all, but I've had some of them. We're going to be bringing you a people's champ, right? A people's champ is a bottle that anybody can get, but it's damn good. And the people's champ tonight, Old Granddad 114. So this is a Jim Beam product. The reason why this is a heavy hitter, this is a people's champ. You're going to find it everywhere, right? It's got to be accessible. You can't be a people's champ and not be accessible. It's accessible. You can get it everywhere. To be honest with you, I have passed on this bottle a lot just because complacency, walking right by it, just thinking it's always on the shelf. If I ever do want to try it, I'll reach down and grab it one day. $30. Even that, maybe it might have been like 27, 28 bucks after tax. $30, 114 proof. I believe it's got an age statement somewhere around 4 to 5 years. But yeah, Jim Beam product. I knew it was going to be good because I had actually finished off this bottle here, which you can see it's the exact same bottle. But this is the Old Overholt 10 cask strength. This is 121 proof. Great bourbon as well. Barreled in 2012. Gone. But I wanted to bring in a contender, right, against the people's champ right here. You have to be accessible. It's the first thing to be a people's champ. In the world of bourbon, whiskey, rye, you have to be affordable too, right? I mean, if you want to be in someone's cabinet all the time, and I'm not talking about you millionaires out there. That's great. If you can keep Stag Junior, GTS, all the Pappies, all the E.H. Taylors, all the way up to the Tornado batches and everything, you got them on your shelf. That's awesome, man. But the rest of us, even you guys that are drinking the big time stuff, you always have a warm up in there, right? People do different things with these two, hottie toddies and what have you. But if you want to warm up the palate, people go to something like Old Granddad. So it's always going to be in your cabinet. It's always there. It's earned its spot. That's why I call it a people's champ. So this is our bottle tonight. We'll go ahead and pop this one, and while we're sipping it, we'll bring in the contender. The contender is a good bottle. I've never had it, so that's going to be something I'm never going to never say that you're going to keep something a certain way, because I can't guarantee that I'm always going to be introducing a bottle as a contender against the people's champ. Tonight's people champ is this. There's going to be different people's champs based on the weight class, right? You know, this is just your straight bourbon whiskey. We're going to have a rye whiskey that's going to, it's people's champ. A finished bourbon, it's a people's champ in its own regard. But this one right here, this is a great pour. But tonight's the contender, never had it. Never had this bourbon. I'm really excited about it. So we got the Still Austin. So I'm giving the contender a chance here. there's an oddity on this bottle that I'll call out here in a minute that I did not realize with this, but I picked this up while I was in South Carolina. Again, it's very readily available. Now, this is the single barrel, and it's a store pick through Total Wine, but this cask strength by Still Austin is readily available nowadays. I think somewhere around $55, $60. You'll pay about $20 more for this single barrel store pick. But these are similar in proof, right? So with the Old Granddad here and the Still Austin, you have 114 proof going up against 116 proof. Pretty close, right? Non-finished bourbons. These are just straight bourbons. Nothing fancy going on. But the only thing I would call out is on the back of this, I was checking the age statement, and it said it was aged at least 2 years. So I was really surprised with that. I mean, look at that color. I mean, check out the color between these two here. I mean, this is a 4 to 5 year. Let me try to get it up there where you can see the light on it. I mean, they're dead on, aren't they? I don't know. Maybe I could see different than me, but I was really surprised that this has like a minimum 2-year age statement. So we'll see. When I grabbed it, I had a guy near me at checkout, and he was like, that's the smoothest cask strength I've ever had. I don't know. We'll see if it's true or not, but cheers. Let's have our first sip. This is the Old Granddad. I don't get fancy with the damn notes. People talking about they're eating red fruit and all this other bullshit. I don't know what the hell they're talking about, man. I've never had a bourbon where it tastes like red fruit. Maybe y'all, if y'all have a more advanced palate than me, when I'm drinking a bourbon, I love caramel, just caramel candy. Love caramel. I think that's why I like bourbon, because the more caramel, vanilla I get out of a bourbon, the better. I just bought, while I was in Florida, I bought a Wild Turkey 8-year. Loads of sweet vanilla caramel flavor out of that Wild Turkey 8 that came out this year. It's a great bottle. And I'm kicking myself for not buying more because I had it under MSRP at the place I was at. But this is the Granddad 114. Yeah, see, you really can't beat that. And you can drink it neat. That's the good thing about Old Granddad. Drink it neat. I know a lot of people that do all kinds of stuff with this bourbon. And it flies off the shelves at some places. Now, if you're in one of these areas and you're like, I never see Old Granddad, I'm sorry. I was told it was pretty accessible. So, that's what we're saying to be people's champ is you have to be accessible. So let's crack it. Let's crack this Still Austin. Now I know what you're thinking. If you're one of these bourbon nerds, which I like to sometimes call myself a bourbon nerd, you're thinking this is not fair. You're putting a single barrel store pick up against just a regular small batch 114 Old Granddad. Okay, life is tough. When you go up against the champ, I'm trying to let the Still Austin here put its best foot forward. I have watched some videos about the Still Austin store pick of the cask strength. And then the, I don't know, my lighting's all effed. Yeah, light's coming in too bright, ain't it? But there's not too much difference between the single barrel store pick and then just the regular batch that's out there. But yeah, let's see if we can get a good cork pop. Yeah. And we're going to let air out in the Glen here for a minute. So let's let it hang tight here for a sec. I'm just surprised at the 2 years. I don't know. Maybe some of y'all that know more about Still Austin can let me know what you think. I'm really surprised with the 2 year on this. Now, it says on the back that it is aged at least 2 years. But normally these labels are meant to be as complimentary as possible. I would think if they're going much higher than that, they're just not saying. So like, for example, and these bottles are on a Jim Beam product. For those of you who have had Baker 7, on the neck of the Baker 7, which is made by Jim Beam, Baker 7 years, right? But if you read the neck label on a Baker 7, you get up over 8 years sometimes. So, okay, there's a give and take of a year and a half there where they're probably like, yeah, that's the name of our product though. This here, minimum 2 years and you get that color. I mean, I don't know. So, but I've heard good. I've heard a lot of good about it. I'm in North Carolina, as you can see. I had to buy this in South Carolina back in the day, but now it is readily available in North Carolina. Now, I've not seen a store pick in North Carolina, but I have seen the regular cast strength in North Carolina. I saw 3 or 4 bottles just in my local store the other day. So this should be pretty readable. Again, around $30 for me here. You can't beat it. This is going to be a tough beat because $30, this was almost 3 times as much as a store pick. So as a store pick and a single barrel, this was actually like $79. The regular non-single barrel, non-store pick, just off the shelf, regular batch is like $59. So it's like $20 cheaper. So yeah, let's see here. Let's see what we get out of this. You know, there's some similar smell there to the old granddad, but I'm getting more like the ethanol smell. Like when I'm over here in the nose of this. Now, I told you I don't do the tasting note horseshit. But like the smell, I will like check that out just to see, because I think that's where a lot of the flavor is, right? So here's my old granddad over here, and I just get, you know, that toffee, caramel type note over here. And on this Still Austin single barrel cast strength, I get definitely a lot more of the ethanol. It smells young, if that makes sense. I don't know, but it smells younger. Okay, so that's what it is. It's oakier. It's got a lot of oak. I know. I said I wasn't going to do the bullshit tasting notes, but I'm sorry. There's a lot of oak there. Man, that's good though. That is good. That is hella good. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be the guy that comes on here and blows my load over every bottle, you know? I want to come on here and be like, oh, that's horse shit. I really didn't want to like it that much. That's good. Like if you want an oak, but you don't want too much oak. See, I'm trying with the double oaks right now. I bought a double oak here local. I may do that in one of the episodes. Not a fan. Not a fan of the double oak. Of the one I had. Now I had the Peerless double oak and it was pretty good. So, you know, I guess we'll have to see. But someone's saying they love the 114. Yeah. I mean, why not? Uncle Larry, you getting it for like, what are you paying in your area if you're still with us, Uncle Larry? I'm just curious. I'm paying around like $28, $29. Real question, bourbon or whiskey? My dad drank Johnny Walker. You know, I have both. So one of my mainstays in here right now in my cabinet is the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. And that's a Tennessee whiskey, right? It's not bourbon. So, and it's like one of my favorites. It is, Crown Royal. You can get some good Crown stuff. $32.99. Okay. You know, that's fair. That's fair. I think that's around what I got this one for. You know, you can't beat it though, man. And, you know, again, I brought up this product too. This is like one of my favorite bottles now, the old Overholt 10. I have not seen the 11. There is an 11 that floats around. I've not seen it. But when I drank this at cast strength at 121 proof and it drank neat, like smooth, I knew this old granddad was probably going to be good. Not aged as long as the Overholt, but I'm going to have to get into more Jim Beam products. I'm being told that I need to check out more of the Jim Beam stuff. I am newer to bourbon, so I'll be straight up with y'all. So the person here asking about bourbon or whiskey, you know, I was more whiskey single malts, and I'll get into those. I was a single malt guy. I love single malts. There's nothing wrong with them. There's a lot of creators here on YouTube that hate on single malts. Okay, that's their palate, but single malts are great. But yeah, for this right here, though, getting back to our matchup here, why are we doing these? On the Bourbon Death Match, I want to kill some of these, man. I mean, that's the point of a death match, right? I want to just like smack one of these down, leave it bloody and disfigured, and just like stay the hell away from where you don't belong. 114's the big dog. He's the one everybody's buying because he's on every shelf. He's available. He's affordable. He tastes great. But this right here, I'm telling you. Now, I would be curious. Now I'm going to have to go buy the non-store pick in my local store just to see. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. And it's the oak thing. So the oak is bringing the vanilla. And that's why it's good. But yeah, this is $20 cheaper just the regular cast strength. So it won't have this silver strip coming down it that says single barrel. It won't have this white store pick, chrome pick down here where it was picked for Total Wine. You'll just see a black label up top here. If you ever see it out and about, you'll see a black label. You'll know it. That's their cast strength. And you'll see it from a mile away. I also don't know if the proof is different for a single barrel as a non-single barrel. This one is 116 proof. I wanted to put two together, right, that have common proof points. I didn't want to put 100 against 120 or something like that because it's just one's going to beat the shit out of the other one. I wanted to do two that could kind of live up, and they're actually quite similar as far as like their up front and finish. But I'm telling you, the nose of this one will throw you off. And I think it's just the difference in what I'm looking at here because this one is all caramel, all brown sugar, like in the nose. And then this one over here is more oak. And I think because it's got some more of those oak tannins coming through, that's where you're getting the ethanol maybe smell a little bit. So I didn't expect this to be good, honestly, off the nose. This one kills it all day long on the nose. But this one, like if you're more of an oak forward person, you like a very oaky. This isn't as oaky. And it actually is aged longer than this one. So you would think all the oak would be coming in over here because it's double the age, but it's not. So, yeah. Bourbon is kind of sweet. It makes me sick like wine and everything. Okay, well, you don't need to get a sweet bourbon then. So that's what we're talking about here. Don't get a sweet bourbon. So when I say sweet bourbon, when I said at the beginning of the episode, I had the Wild Turkey 8. Don't go buy the Wild Turkey 8 if you don't like a sweet bourbon. That bad boy is sweet. It's like candy. If you're wanting something not sweet and you want to get into bourbons, get into something like this right here because it's more oak. It's not as sweet. I hear a lot of talk that the Buffalo Trace stuff is sweet. I've not had a ton of Buffalo Trace products outside of the norm. Eagle Rare, the Buffalo Trace bottle itself. Those are pretty sweet, so I wouldn't start there. What you want is something more oaky, if you ask me. I mean, that's my opinion. And it's just because I don't get as much of that sweet caramel like I get over here with the Old Granddad in this right here. So maybe try something different and see where it goes. But there we have it, guys. That's it for today's video. Quick and to the point. These aren't going to be long episodes. This is just to kind of introduce you to a bottle. We'll fresh crack them on here. Hopefully I'm giving you some insights so you maybe want to go try the bottle yourself. We'll learn together. Never had anything Still Austin. I wanted to smack it down. I wanted to like really come in there and ram it good and knock it out of the ring here. But because this right here, these Jim Beam products, they just keep killing for me, man. I love them. I can't wait to try more. I've not tried all the other Jim Beam stuff, right? And I'm just honest with you, just being newer to bourbon, coming in from more of again, single malts and things like that. Baker's 7. I've never seen a Baker's 13 anywhere, but Baker's 7, I would like to try that. I would love to try any of the other Bookers. They make Bookers. They make the Little Book product. So there's several out there that Jim Beam makes. That's a good product. So my first two into the Jim Beam world, a step up from just a normal Jim Beam mixer product, is that old Overholt 10 and this 114 Old Granddad. So far, 2 for 2 in the Jim Beam world. But if you do see these around, maybe give them a shot. Now, does it earn? Does it knock this guy off? Will it push its way back into my cabinet? You know, I'm only saying yes because now I want to try the regular non-store pick. I don't know if I'm going to keep coming back to it, though. That's not a slam on this, though. I have limited space in my cabinet, a very big-ass cabinet, but I have limited space. But, you know, I will say it's very good. If you're oak forward, you're probably going to want to keep it in your cabinet. If you're more, you like the caramel, more bourbons, you probably won't shelf this one all the time. But it's definitely a change of pace bourbon. If you want a different flavor profile, you want to get away from the sweetness of a wild turkey, the sweet banana bread note from a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof, the sweet nutty notes of these Jim Beam products, it would be a good change of pace. So, but, you know, not a bad showing. Not enough to knock off the People's Champ, though. So, see y'all around. Thanks for joining on this episode. We'll catch y'all next time. Like and subscribe, share, and we'll catch you with the next bottle. Thank you.